So another question that was asked today in the group was, I can envision myself healthy and be okay where I am now at the same time. But this person was asking how to get to how do they get to the core of why they have blood clotting disorder and thyroid problems and any other markers that have been shown to be red flags? And the answer is that to the extent that a person gives importance to the diagnoses is the extent that they're holding on to that specific form. But the healing is when we move into the formlessness. What does that mean? That means that we want to begin to recognize that our true identity, what we actually are, is not found in the world of form. It's not found in the world of diagnoses. It's not found in the world of labels. What we truly are, what we actually are, is actually more um, similar to Hiyuli, to that just plain aware, just open awareness, just plain air, formlessness. And what that means is that if, and it's a big if because this is the work, if I can incrementally, gradually, more and more, let go of all of the seriousness and all of the attachment that we usually give to those diagnoses and the identification with it, so that we can maintain a vision or an inner experience of being healthy already now, that is the best way we can support ourselves in healing. Because the thing is, what happens, people they get a diagnosis, or even themselves, they diagnose themselves, they add to their story, their narrative about who they are, how unhealthy they think they are, and what type of issues they have, their physical, the health issues that they have. And they get stuck in that and they identify with that. And because of that, it affects their energy on the inside. Their vitality energy is affected, right? You're walking around feeling like a victim. You try and dragging yourself. You don't walk around. You walk around differently if you think that you're an old whatever that has all of these health issues and has to take 20 different pills every day. You're walking differently. You're walking around the house differently than when you were a 20-year-old and you had the whole life in front of you, and you had health, and you had a skip in your step, and you had all of this potential. But if you were able to maintain that level of vitality now, despite what the body is doing, the body will do whatever it'll do. But despite that, being able to continue maintaining that level of vitality internally in your consciousness by not overly identifying with the symptoms and by instead recognizing what your true identity is, then that's the best way to support yourself in in first of all healing from whatever issues you might have, and also maintaining your health. And we all know people that were well into their 90s and maybe even over 100, and they could walk around easily like a young person with energy and with clarity of thought and awareness. And this is what that the secret of that is all about. And so let's see how maybe we can learn something from the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov about this exact point. When Hashem says to Avram that you're going to have children, and by the way, most of us think that, if Hashem told me that I'm going to have what I'm praying for, I would also believe him. But the truth is that hearing Hashem, when Avram heard Hashem, received that prophecy from Hashem, that began because of his emunah. Another verse in this week's parsha. There's so much to learn in this parsha about emunah, especially when we learn about Avram Avinu. And he trusted in Hashem. He believed in Hashem. He trusted in Hashem, and Hashem counted it for him as a charity. What does that mean as a charity? When you give a charity, when you give tzedakah, there is a power that opens up that's really built into the human experience. It's called the power of reciprocity and mutuality. It's almost like it's a question that's opened up. It's almost like as if there's a container that's opened up that needs to be a void, a vacuum that's opened up that needs to be filled, and it's filled tenfold, right? Aser bishvil shetit asher. When you give, what's the word? Tithing. When you give a tenth, it's multiplied tenfold. You become wealthy. What does that mean? Because when you give tzedakah, when you give charity, there's a void, a vacuum that's opened up, and it has to be filled, and it's filled tenfold. So emuna has the same effect. When you visualize a certain reality, ve'emin b'Hashem, he trusted in Hashem, he surrendered to the reality of having that blessing from Hashem, it is counted like a charity, meaning that there's as if a vacuum that's opened up in your reality that that vision must be materialized. So Avram, receiving that prophecy from Hashem, yes, we would all love to have Hashem come and tell you, my dear child, that thing that you're praying for, you will have it. And we all believe that once we heard those words from God himself, we would have no longer have any doubt in our hearts. But it works the other way around. Once you remove the doubt in your heart and you're able to really, really trust in Hashem in giving you this blessing, you will experience on some level of consciousness or another that prophecy, that certainty, that clarity, and it will be manifested. That void, that vacuum is opened up and it must be filled tenfold. And so Hashem took Avram outside, it says. And the Medrash tells us that Hashem took Avram outside the atmosphere and showed him all of the forces that are in the universe, the astrological signs, the astrological energies as well. And told Avram Avinu, exit the atmosphere of nature. Transcend the limitations of nature in consciousness. Let go of attaching so much importance to what you think you're naturally capable of. Avram was able to see that naturally he was incapable of having children, physically. Hashem says, transcend that. Exit. Go outside of that.